First off, I want to say shout out to Bam. Congratulations. Scoring 83 points at any level is an unbelievable feat. That brother was cooking. The Wizards were setting double teams, triple teams, pressing him full court, and he was still getting it done. It was a historic night. And at the end of the day, the history books will forever say Wilt, Bam, Kobe. But the way the game ended and the discourse that's followed is a perfect microcosm of what's wrong with the NBA. And full disclosure, I am a Kobe fan. I know that means half of y'all probably already typing, typical cope, fraud, crime, war, all that type of stuff. I already smell the rotten tomatoes in the air already. But if one wants honesty, one must lead with honesty. So just wanted to throw that out there. I had a couple reactions while I was watching this game. My initial one was Bam, like how? As someone who's had Bam on his fantasy team for the last 4 years, I am pretty comfortable and pretty familiar with this game. Shout out to DeAndre too, by the way. So this just shocked me. I honestly couldn't believe it. And my second reaction, I'm not gonna lie, was honestly some protective hate, you know, and that's because Kobe's 81 was sacred. It wasn't just a number to us Kobe fans. It was like the apex of skill meeting preparation with just a large dose of that killer Mamba mentality. For most of us alive, it was the greatest scoring performance we'd ever actually seen, we'd ever actually witnessed from one of the greatest scorers ever. So when Bam, an 18 point per game scorer, was about to touch that, I was like, nah, hell nah, ain't no way. Nah, something crazy must be going on. So then I proceeded to turn on my perfectly legal stream on my phone, and I was like literally praying like the Wizards would do something. I was like, just lock in. Come on, freaking lock in, Wizards, do something. And by the way, the Wizards should be investigated. Like they need to be regulated from basketball. Like for what they're doing this year, there needs to be an investigation. Just to the side, back to the game. But something happened while I was watching the beginning of the fourth quarter. I had my third reaction, and it was acceptance. It was excitement. It was just the realizations that records are meant to be broken. And if I can keep it a bean, no pun intended, Kobe would have wanted him to go for it. My whole mentality shifted. I was like, you know what? Go ahead, Bam. Get that 83. Get 81. Go for it. Put your name in the record books. My Nigerian brother, go ahead and make history. Do it, bro. You got this. And that lasted for until I saw Keyshawn Johnson miss that free throw on purpose. After that, I was like, what? And then Miami started fouling up 25. I was just like, come on, this is ridiculous. That changed everything. That changed my mentality. I got mad. I was upset, not really at Bam at all, but like honestly at his teammates and at what the game had turned into. And what should have been a masterpiece just turned into what I would say was a sideshow. It was like putting glitter on a Mona Lisa. Actually, better yet. Do you guys remember that episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob is like making a sculpture and Squidward is trying to be like entered into an art show or something, and Squidward kept on putting that like ugly nose on the perfect masterpiece? That's what that game was to me. That ugly nose that they put on that masterpiece. It was an ugly, unnecessary addition to a dominant performance. They weren't making anything better. They were just ruining it. And the last minutes of that fourth quarter were just not basketball. Plain and simple. That's not basketball. You're fouling up 25. That's not basketball. Missing free throws up 25 for more possessions. You're just chasing records. That's gross. That's not ball. And honestly, saying that is not hate. That's just reality. There's no hate there. That's just facts. So after all the game is said and done, and I'm just going through my emotions of it all, I go on Twitter like an idiot. That's the last place you want to go on when you're upset. And at first, I basically see exactly how I feel, exactly what I'm feeling is what everyone is saying on the timeline. People are saying there's no place in the game for what that devolved into. It's just you literally see Ime Udoka and JJ Redick just looking at it comically. They're not even taking it seriously. But then something shifted. You could see the narrative start to be written. You could see in real time, literally. I saw the timeline just start to shift. And it just turned into, oh, Kobe fans are mad. People hate greatness. NBA fans hate the NBA, blah, blah, blah. You just don't like the progression of the game. And I was like, here we go again with this NBA stuff. Here we go. And honestly, this is the real issue. This is the crux of the issue. To sum it up in one point, the NBA has an honesty issue. And the fans are dishonest about the product and to others. The media is dishonest to the fans and the players. The players are dishonest to the media and the fans. And the league office is pretty much just dishonest to everybody, just dishonest to literally the world. And it's destroying the league. And it reflects clearly in the discourse of the NBA. Quite frankly, NBA discourse is the worst in sports, like bar none. If you've ever had the displeasure of, just tapping into NBA Twitter or NBA Reddit, let me break it down to you real quick. On one side, you have the analytics bros. On the other side, you have the eye test bros. On one side, you have the sources says media. On the other side, you have media personalities that act like the show's about them. You have burner accounts. You have clutch mafia narratives. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. But if you want to get to like the core of the worst part of it, you have to start with two things. Number one, it's the Stan Wars. And number two, it's the old heads versus the new heads and the new generation wars. Before I begin, let me define stan. A stan is basically a super fan that's like borderline obsessive. It's a term that comes from like an Eminem song about Stan, about a obsessed fan who, well, if you know, you know. One day I will do a full deep dive on stan culture because I don't think it's just ruining the NBA. I think it's literally ruining culture as a whole completely. But back to the point. I'll start with the major players when it comes to like the Stan Wars. Typically, you have like the Michael Jordan fans or the Michael Jordan stans, the LeBron stans, the Kobe stans, the Steph stans, the KD stans, just a bunch of different stan groups. And the MJ stans think that the 90s is peak basketball, and they usually hate on modern younger players, especially LeBron. The Kobe stans kind of have like a pact with the MJ stans, and they also hate the LeBron stans. The LeBron stans hate the Kobe stans, they hate the MJ stans, they hate the Steph stans, and they hate the KD stans. The Steph stans used to be cool with the KD stans before that whole thing broke up over there. But since that, it's pretty much beef. And the Steph stans also hate the LeBron stans unless they want to team up against the KD stans. And now the KD stans, like I said, hate the Steph stans and the LeBron stans, but are pretty cool with the Kobe stans and the MJ stans for the most part. And the Kobe stans and the Steph stans are pretty cool until the Steph stans get a little bit too much dip on their chip, and then they team up with the LeBron stans against Kobe stans. And now you're basically adding the Luka stands to that, the Shea stands to that, and the Jokic stands to that, and they're just like a plethora of all these different little fan groups that keep on growing as years keep on going. And it's just on and on and on. It's like Game of Thrones, it never ends, and it is exhausting. And because of all these little factions and stand groups, you can't get honesty. Like, you can't get honesty at all. People aren't watching the game to just enjoy the game as the game is supposed to be enjoyed. They're watching it for ammunition. That's really it. Every game becomes, does this help my guy? How can I spin this? How can I tear down another player to make my guy look better? How does this help my agenda? What fan base can I start trolling because of this performance? Instead of just watching basketball and enjoying basketball. The same fan who will get on Shea for grifting to 40 because of his 15 free throws will then turn around and lionize a 20 free throw Jaylen Brown performance with the same exact type of fouls because it's their guy. A fan will watch a team go 11 for 50 from three and call it beautiful basketball just because they don't want to have to admit someone else is right about some of the product slipping. And it's not just an isolated fan layman thing. This pervades all the way up to the top rungs of NBA media. Like, we literally used to see Shannon Sharp on live TV with a LeBron James costume with LeBron James bed sheets. Like, that was normal. And from the fans and the full-fledged media members, if the narrative doesn't benefit their side, it just gets dismissed, regardless of truth. And when everything is viewed through that type of lens, real conversation dies. Context gets destroyed. Nuance just disappears. It's gone. And usually I compare that to like the NFL discourse. Like, older NFL fans will say the game is more pass heavy. The rules favor the offense. The defensive linemen can't get away with anything on the quarterbacks. The stats are inflated. The DBs are in disadvantaged positions. And for the most part, the younger fans will agree. Like, we see it. An older fan can talk about Fran Tarkenton, and a young fan won't say he played against plumbers. That won't be the first thing that comes out of their mouth. Someone might say, like, Walter Payton is the best running back they've ever seen. And no one rushes out with a million out of context stats to dispute it. It's just like, cool. And while acknowledging all these changes that benefit the new era, the old heads can still say, Mahomes is amazing. They can still acknowledge that Mahomes is great. They acknowledge that the change without erasing the past and while still praising the present. It can happen. Even when Tom Brady criticizes the game and honestly points out that the NFL has incentivized bad football from quarterbacks by rewarding bad decisions with penalties, people don't call him a hater. They say, you know what? That's fair. Maybe he's right. Maybe we can reevaluate some things. In the NBA, that does not exist. If that happens, it's war. Battle lines get drawn immediately. Narratives get arranged. Truth gets twisted. And honestly, that is sad because history matters. Nuance, real nuance matters. But honestly, NBA fans do not want nuance. They don't want to learn history that might contradict who they've chosen to support. They want, if I can be real, they want narratives. You're either on my side or you're on the other side. And the media feeds directly into it. That's why someone like Max Kellerman can immediately go onto TV and say, foolish Kobe fans are the reason that Bam's 83-point game is getting hate. And there's literally no pushback. No one sits there and says, you know what? Well, a lot of fans have been having problems with the NBA's free throws for a while. Or, well, offense is a little bit inflated nowadays. Or simply, Just acknowledging the fact that following up 25 points in the fourth quarter is weird. Nope. Nope. That's not what happens. It's just, oh, Kobe fans are mad and Kobe fans are crazy. The only honest thing about NBA discourse is that everyone is dishonest. There is no honesty in it. So, back to Bam's historic night. A week later, it's pretty clear what this has become. You mentioned the 43 free throws. It's the Wizards shouldn't have been hacking. Okay. You mentioned the 7 of, what was it, 22 from 3, and that's just the modern game. You got to get with it, you know? It's threes now. Live with it. And then if you even try to mention following up 25 points, it's, hey man, the Wizards weren't playing fair either. So, anything goes when you're trying to chase a record. Like, what are you talking about? You hate it. Intentionally missing free throws, up 25 for more possessions. See above. It's the same thing. You must be a hater. Typical Kobe fan. Cope, cry, or maybe, just maybe, I'm just a fan of the game. Maybe I can criticize the product and still say, you know what? Bam showed out. Bam went crazy. Because he did. He was still hooping. He was still hooping. That man fought tooth and nail for history. He was literally getting ripped on every which way, and he was still out there hooping. But that doesn't mean I should have to lie and say the game was amazing. I should have had to pretend that there weren't aspects of the game that weren't just flat out gross. I can say Bam was legitimately incredible and still say that ending was not basketball. It just wasn't. Because what should have been a legendary moment in NBA history turned into something else. Not because of Bam, but honestly, because of everything around it. The NBA needs honesty. Point blank, period. You can still respect the past while celebrating the present. You can acknowledge the rules in history while still criticizing the flaws of the current game, all at the same time. Because criticism isn't hate. It's how you protect the integrity of the game. And Bam, like, come on. That man still had a historic night. 83 points, man. Dude was hooping. But if we truly want moments like that to actually mean something, we need more honesty. Or moments like that won't mean anything at all. All right, well, thanks, YouTube. Thanks, guys. Subscribe.